We are talking today with TJ, aka King Dude. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
We're before your show in Krakow. Today is a special day because it's Halloween. Uh, are you a traditionalist? Are you into this tradition, or for you is it just some uh, stupid tradition with going from house to house and
Maybe
only
just an excuse to
excuse, yeah,
I
before.
think it's fun. I think it's a fun thing for kids. That's really what Halloween is. In America, everyone dresses up and goes to parties. But every day's Halloween for me, really. I mean, I don't really look at, needing to dress up to be scary as a fun thing to do. I think I was a vampire a few years ago because I was DJing this bar. But usually I play shows, and I think it's fun. I think it's fun to dress up. Why not, But all the costumes for women are always sexy, no matter what. You know this old joke. It's always like sexy baby costume, sexy, whale, sexy, watermelon, sexy anything. They can't be just like a scary thing. They have to be that plus sexy. So that's kind of stupid, I think. And I think it's a dumb excuse to get drunk for a lot of people. But I like candy, and I like alcohol. So and I like dressing up. I think it's fun. I think it's a good one. Yeah, Halloween.
Your last album is called Sex, and as I read in some interview, there is some connection between sex, between your records like Love, like Fear. Could you tell us more about this concept that is behind those titles, those albums?
So, starting with Love, I wanted to work through some of what it is to be a human being, some of the basic things we all have to deal with as human beings. And so I chose four titles of albums, four concepts, and I've worked through three of them so far. And there'll be one more at the end. And some people could probably guess what that fourth title is, but I'm not going to say what it is for sure because it's not out yet, but I do have it all planned. And if people if they read the signs within the albums, they would know what I'm referencing to, and how I got inspired to come up with that. But it's something that a lot of bands have been inspired by. So I don't even want to say what the inspiration is behind that too much because it gives too much away. But, I don't mind saying it. It's, do you know about the process, the Church of the Final Judgment? You know about the processions and all that? So it's basically inspired by what those people did. I thought they were incredible, and Timothy Wiley's artwork is a huge inspiration to what I do artistically. So not necessarily the tenets of their faith, although I find them very interesting. And you could barely call it a faith, really, because, I don't know. I don't think it still is around. And I think it was based on Scientology. And can we call Scientology a faith? I don't know. They got the legal recognition as a faith, but I don't really consider them a real faith. They're more of a corporate entity, cult. But, so that's what's inspired me. And between every album, I put an album for me to take a break from the heavy meditation that goes into making an album about love or fear or sex. So I take a break and make a in-between album. And I'm working on my next in-between album right now because I just finished Sex. So, and I can tell you what that will be called. That's going to be called Music to Make War To. And it's going to be good. It should be out next year. Yeah.
With your last album, with Sex, you had some even rock vibes, even more heavy vibes than that with your last of your records like Fear, like your older albums. So could we expect that with your new record, or are you searching for something more already?
Yeah, what I'm working with now is different sounds than the other records entirely. But like my albums, they're not really one sound for the whole album. So far, the one song that I have that is pretty much done, recorded and everything, is not like anything I've ever done before. I mean, it might even be considered offensive to some people because of the dance nature of it or the electronic nature of it, but I think it'll be good. I think, honestly, I love it, and I think at this point, that's all I have to do is go, do I love it? Will this challenge some people? Sure, but I think the majority of my fans will easily want to hear this song, and like it. So yeah, there's not like a theme of the music though. I always want a theme of the music, but as you could see, I'm not, or as you could hear, I'm not able to stay on topic long enough. Sex has a more 70s rock vibe to it. I think just because I started to write it with a bass first, because when I was thinking about sex and what instruments would convey sexuality, I thought of a bass guitar. Now when I'm thinking about music to make war to, that's a very literal sentence, isn't it? It's sort of like Songs of Flesh and Blood in the Key of Light, which is a very literal, it's like, okay, that's my theme for the album. When I think of war music, if I was going to go to war with someone, what would I listen to? Well, that's like classical music. It's not heavy, actually. Yeah, Wagner. I think somebody did go to war to Wagner once. I think that wasn't, but I don't think, did Wagner make it to make war to? I don't know if that was his purpose of making the music. The music was about war, though. And so it becomes synonymous in our minds with war, and because so many people loved it that were involved with war, you know what I mean? So I guess what I'm trying to say is the sounds I hear when the themes are presented they're established in my mind, but they change all the time. I didn't set out to make Sex a 70s or a heavy rock record, but just having the bass guitar as an instrument kind of made it. I mean, that's the first record with bass on the whole album. All the other albums had it on one song or no songs, And with Music to Make War To, I'm working with this instrument that is new, that I really like. It's like a keyboard. It's a Rolly Seaboard, and it's very cool. I'm not endorsed by them, so I'm not paid to say this. I just bought it, and I really, really, really love it. And so there's a lot more movement between the notes. The notes it's kind of smooth. I can't really describe it yet because it's not done. It's in a lot of pieces. But I bet you'll like it. I bet you will. I'm sure you will.
I'd like to come back to tonight's evening for a second, because a few years back, if somebody asked me to point two music genres that are on the polar opposites, well, black metal and country would be definitely easy choice. Yet tonight, nothing really seems out of place, and I wonder if you could point, maybe explain a common ground between your music, the Ruins of Bevrast, Caronte, besides the fact that Van Records is your label.
It's hard to. That's a good question. It's hard to answer it without saying the obvious thing that we're all on the same record label. But I should say that us being on the same record label is a choice that we all made. We could be on different record labels. We could all be on different record labels if we wanted. But we are the type of people that want to work with this record label in particular because of the nature of how the releases are treated, the quality of the records, and just the friendly nature of the person that runs it, Sven and Caro, both of them together. It's amazing. So to us, to me, it's hard to separate the two. The reasons we're on tour together and it works, though, musically, maybe is because everybody in some way, shape, or form is performing some sort of magic. It's different. Nobody's up there vacantly, expressing some sort of Gigi Allen type of nonsense music, or it's not just purely destructive. Even if it sounds like heavy or something like one of the other bands, they're still erecting a temple to something they believe in, and they take it seriously. So that also is why it works. But it doesn't always work. We're playing in front of a lot of metalheads. They don't always like our music. They don't always like it. They can't always get quiet enough to listen. But I can't blame them for that. All I could do is play my songs and then yell at them if they piss me off. On this tour it's happened a couple times, but on my own tour it happens. I don't know what's going to piss me off tonight, but something probably will. It's just the nature of the music. Sometimes I get very angry with the material I'm working with too. It's like I'm thinking about murder. I'm thinking about really terrible things, and I'm really getting into channeling those energies, plus alcohol. It's like you don't know what you're gonna get. I'm not beating the audience up by any means, but I'm definitely not afraid of them.
Well, you are involved artistically not only in music but also in designing clothing. You have your own brand, Actual Pain. How much of your time it takes, like right now, when you are mainly involved with King Dude?
Pretty much I'm only doing King Dude these days. Like if I'm on tour, there's not much I could... I guess maybe a few hours a week I'll spend on Actual Pain. But I'm on tour for a month straight, so I can't really... There's no time in the day for me to really work on it, So I kind of have... It's nice to have another company and do something different. When I want to get away from what I'm doing in music, I could do that. And it's always there. And it's been there for me for a long time. It's enabled me to do King Dude in the way I do it. So I absolutely love it. I love both, but it's like... it's having two different jobs, and if you get sick of rock and roll, you can design something else creative. But if you get sick of making shirts and things like that, you can make rock and roll. It's nice.
But while we are at it, I wanted to ask about your merch designs, because in this subculture, if I may say so, the metal subculture, there is this fetishization of merchandise, and you had yourself quite unusual designs. For instance, the knives that sold out pretty quickly.
What's the question? Oh, how do I design that?
Yeah, how do you design it, and why knives?
Well, everybody I know carries a knife. You need them all the time. Why not have one that says Lucifer's Light of the World on it? To me, it makes sense. It's a nice gift. And I don't know, you see so many nicer things at the merch table these days. When I started, these kinds of pins, sorry to point out your jacket, but this pin not a lot of people made pins like that. And now you see a lot more enamel pins, and I think it's nice. I'm not saying I'm the one who started it, but it's nice to see people move towards nicer things, not just shitty plastic crap. It's nice to have a nice thing, it doesn't cost that much money. But the difference I like the quality of the merchandise to be there, and quality of the items, the items that you choose to make, because you can make anything. You can make socks, you can make, this is capitalism at its best, right? You could do anything for a band. But people always choose the same kind of boring thing, so I try and just think outside of the box. It's hard for me to tour with to come over here from America with like a rolling luggage full of knives, So I don't really bring them over here. But I made scarves too, like those are fun, and in the winter, if you tour in the winter, you could have a scarf. It's nice. I'd make anything. So yeah. We good? This is a good place to end.
Yeah. So everybody should carry a knife, King Dude.
Carries a knife. And keep your neck warm. Have a scarf too. Knives and scarves. That's what you need.
It's a good title for a song.
Hey, maybe it'll be on the next album. You never know.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you.